So there was a announcement that there might be some bombing here. So we had to come down to this bomb shelter, which is actually in our building, and spend some time here. This is actually the first time that the special announcement was in effect. And so this is like first time we're doing something like this, but apparently it was a serious one. And so let's see what happens. A lot of fun. So it is 8:14 a.m. Saturday, February 26th. I just kind of finished packing my stuff. The most important things are here. Got this. The suitcase is almost packed. We still need to pack this little thing. And we're gonna try to get out of Ukraine today. Well, not out of Ukraine, out of Kyiv first. And so pretty much every single minute, and especially at night when we weren't sleeping, all we're doing is reading the news here. This is a couple of Telegram channels. This is the president here saying that he is still in Kyiv and still protecting the city, protecting the country. Every single minute, this is kind of what we're looking at. This is the best way to understand what is going on, what is happening, who is attacking from where's the fighting happening, because we are hearing some explosions, but they're kind of faint, so it's really unknown where exactly in the city it is, right? So to better understand like where you can go, where you can't go, can we even get to the train station, can we even get to the railway station, stuff like that. So all we're doing is just checking these Telegram channels. They're updated like typically every few minutes, every 5 minutes, there's a bunch of them. So it's a really good way to kind of have your handle on the pulse, so to speak, on the whole situation. So apparently I'm learning that the line at the Polish-Ukrainian borders is very, very long. And so I just called the US Embassy to see if there's something they can advise me or tell me what to do in this kind of situation. And she just told me, get out of the country as fast as you can, any way you can, any country you can. So that wasn't really much of help, but that's what we're doing. I think it's going to be a lot safer in that region, even if we can't cross the border, than being here in Kyiv. Because in Kyiv, this is where all the action is, right? This is all, they're trying to encircle it, they're trying to get it, to take it. But in the western Ukraine, close to Polish border, I don't think there's going to be much of activity, if any. It is 9:17 a.m. Around 12 o'clock, we're going to be heading to the railway station. This is kind of all we're taking. We're taking one suitcase. Looks like I'm almost finished packing my gadgets here. Just a little bit more packing, and then we're ready to go. So it is 10 a.m. right now, and we're going to be leaving in about 2 hours. And right now I'm reading current news, whether Ukrainian railways is working or not, if there are any delays, any trains that are not working. And it says here that Ukrainian railways is working. Some trains have delays, and this is the current situation for the morning. And so I'm checking to make sure that everything is good. So I think, yeah, everything is good so far. So I think we'll be able to get to the railway station and board the train real soon. So I just saw a tank column outside my house. I'm looking out the window. There's a column of tanks, BTRs, and other armored carriers that are driving in the direction out of Kyiv. Insane what's happening right now. I never thought I'd see this. So as you can see, to get to Vokzalnaya, which is the main railway station, one of the red lines has no service. So because of the bombing at night, so they closed that railway line. So you cannot get there by metro anymore. So we're gonna try to take a taxi to get there. Okay, it is 11:17, and we have finished packing here. We still gotta pack this little person right here to take with us. And here I'm reading the updates about any kind of military activity, and I also joined this Ukrainian Railways update. So this is the update for today. Very, very useful. And they also have updates for schedule from Lviv to Peremyshl, which is a city in Poland, and they tell you that it's at 8 a.m., 12, 1600, which is 4 p.m., 7:55 p.m., and midnight, 12:40 a.m. and 5:27. So we might try to get on one of these two once we get to Lviv. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it's almost 12 o'clock. We're finished here. Still gotta pack that little thing here. And now we're gonna be heading to the train station. We are here waiting for the bus, and there are no buses. So we caught a taxi for like $30 to the main railway station. And that's a lot of money, but in these times, you know, it's nothing is enough. So we're waiting for our cab to our ЖД Vokzal, which is the railway station. Alright, so we made it to the main railway station here. We have our train in about an hour, which is perfect because we had to pay the maximum that we can in the app. Otherwise nobody would drive here, and it was crazy. We started to get worried we might actually miss our train. Thank God we made it in time. Alright, so we just made it on the train. We got in. There were people actually waiting without tickets to see if there are going to be any places for them. But when they saw us, they asked us if we have any tickets. They immediately, they just let us in right away. So this is what it kind of looks like. There's Marina. There's the little Moся right here. We can't leave her anywhere. She's amazing. This is what the train looks like. And so we're gonna be going to Lviv. I think it's like 6 hours, plus or minus. And then we are gonna be, we're gonna see what's gonna happen. But the idea is to eventually go across the border. We started our journey towards the city of Lviv. Семерочка. Alright, so we just made it to Lviv, on the western part of the country, and it was a long ride. The train was like a bus. There were people, a lot of people. It was just full to the brim. And we sat in that train for 10 hours, and it was pretty tough. It was a good group of people there, but it was tough. It was very tiring. And so now we are going to our apartments to spend one night and then try to get to the border of Poland, Polish border, tomorrow. And I think it's gonna be even bigger hell to cross the border. This is crazy. This is insane. All right, so here's our hotel apartment in Lviv. We have the bed, we have the kitchenette, we have the bathroom. So it's a studio apartment, very, very small, but one of the very few options that was available here in Lviv, because everybody's trying to get here. So we're like true refugees this time. We're not bowling out like in Lithuania and other countries. All right, so it is 1:31 a.m. and we are here about to go to bed. And I just wanted to talk about our day and talk about this whole situation because it's rapidly changing and I'm seeing things with my own eyes and I'm seeing things in a new light, in a new way. And so it's been a long day. We finally made it to Lviv. We were very, very close to missing the train. And, you know, I saw, like I said in the video, I did see Ukrainian tanks, armored vehicles, just going along the street, you know, these big jeeps, armored jeeps, just rolling across the street in the direction out of Kyiv. I don't think they were leaving. I think they were
uh, going where the battles are. And I want to say one thing is that every day it's getting exponentially worse. So the first day when war started, it was still a shock, but it was kind of far. Like they were not in Kyiv yet. They were coming, right? The second day they were already in Kyiv, but it was still okay. Meaning that we had a curfew, but it wasn't that expensive. And then later on, that curfew became much more expensive. Now we left Kyiv, but the curfew is now the entire weekend. So if we didn't leave Kyiv, we would not be able to leave until Monday. We left on Friday, or actually, rather, we left on Saturday. But if we missed that last train, we wouldn't be able to leave until Monday. And so this is getting exponentially worse every day. And so Russia is using all kinds of means to, break this country down, get it into submission, bring it to its knees. We are talking about rockets launched from Russia, rockets launched from the sea. We are talking about paratroopers. We're talking about tanks. We're talking about, special advanced rocket carriers. They're using a lot of advanced weaponry that, obviously Ukraine doesn't have, and they destroyed all the airfields in Ukraine, one of the first things they did. And so it's really, really becoming hell. Right now, I'm reading reports about Kiev where the metro is not going to be carrying passengers at all. It's going to be only it's going to only serve as a bomb shelter. They're even closing the doors so, nothing can fly in, or people can run in and start attacking, because as you saw in one of the previous videos, there's a lot of people hiding there. And so honestly, guys, like, I gotta say, it's like a bad dream. It does not make sense. We're not talking about, what happened 7 years ago or 8 years ago with Crimea, where it was just taken without any shots being fired. We're talking about an all-out assault using all kinds of weapons from all directions, just, in 21st century in Europe. This is unprecedented. This is insane. There's nothing that can justify something like this from Russian side. And obviously Russia is calling it something else, right? Russia officially is calling this whole operation as a special operation. They're not calling it war. They're not calling it invasion. They're not calling it any of these big words. They're calling it a special operation. That's all they're calling it. And if you call it by something else in Russian press, you're gonna get a fine. If you do that again, they're gonna block your stuff. It's very, very restrictive on press in Russia. And so honestly, it's hell. It's honestly hell. Like, and what surprises me the most is that no other countries are really helping. Like EU is kind of like they want to do sanctions, and that's nice and all, but sanctions is not gonna stop the bombing of Kyiv, right? A really, really amazing city. And yes, they are beginning to bring weapons. Germany is now allowing weapons. That's a great step, but nobody's stepping up to the plate. Nobody's sending troops. NATO is not supporting it, and without troops and at least air power, at least closing the air above Ukraine, right? That would be a great, great step. And so it's insane. It's truly insane. It's hard to believe. It's honestly, it feels like a mirage. It feels like a dream that I'm about to wake up from and say, wow, I dreamt that Russia was attacking Ukraine and launching a full-scale invasion, right? Russia is one of the most militarily powerful countries in the world. They have very, very advanced weapons and technology, and they're very militarized. And Ukraine is yes, they have a good military, but it's not as advanced, it's not as well funded, it's not as new, as high tech as Russia. And Russia has a huge army, right? They could send 100,000 soldiers. They're launching from different directions. It's insane what's happening. It's absolutely insane. The only good thing is that Russia is doing their best to avoid civilians being hit. So they are avoiding civilians. Yes, there are civilian casualties, but it has been minimized, thankfully. But still, even without that, it's insane what's happening. It's still a war. It's nothing is nothing can justify it. And as I am making this video now, I actually read a report that they blew up an oil storage just outside of Kyiv. Not in Kyiv, but maybe like 20 miles south of Kyiv. They blew up an oil depot by a missile strike, and that's insane. That's absolutely insane. So it's not only, an airfield like they used to be doing. Now they're blowing up strategic places. Maybe factories are next, and who knows what's next, right? This is war. Anything can change. Anyway, I don't know what else to say. Every day is going to be something new, and so we're just going to call it a day. Tomorrow we have a long day. They say that, you might have to wait a day or even more to cross the border. So I don't know. We don't know what to expect tomorrow. We're just searching for different border crossings to cross into Poland. So wish us luck. But that is all for today, and we're just gonna call it a night, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.